Welcome to Coffee with Closers. In this series, we interview top real estate producers that are out there making big things happen in the real estate industry. That way you can learn from their failures and their big wins so you can start winning more in your real estate business. Welcome to Coffee with Closers. Today we have a special guest. His name is Jason Lash with the Lash Group. He has built his real estate team from essentially a couple agents all the way up to 22 agents at this point. So today we're going to dive into quite a few things like lead generation, how to build a big real estate team, some things that team leaders need to consider while building out their real estate team. So there's a wealth of information that you're going to hear from Jason in this interview, and I hope you really enjoy it. So let's dive into it. All right, so today we have Jason Lash on the show. He has built a pretty massive real estate team. We're going to share a lot of information for team leaders, kind of how to get started, how to build a team, and then talk a little bit about EXP. But overall, we're going to talk about team building, recruiting, a lot of great tips here. So Jason, thanks for coming on. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the offer.
Of course. So Jason, tell us a little bit about what led you into real estate.
So no one else would hire me. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. So I actually started in the mortgage world when I was 21, 22 years old. Spent 11 years in the mortgage world. 2008 hit, and then the mortgage world kicked me out as the world collapsed. And I was looking for a job. I couldn't find a job. I was done with the mortgage world. The only opportunities I had was honestly just telemarketing. And no disrespect to anybody doing telemarketing, but I had a newborn, a wife, I had a house payment. I figure if I'm going to cold call, I'm going to cold call something for myself to get a little bigger paycheck. So I became a real estate agent literally because nobody would hire me in 2008, and grew from there.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's awesome. So what was like the very beginning like for you when you first got licensed?
So when I was going back to doing mortgages, the loan officer, being a loan officer, you networked a lot of realtors. I do these coffees and sit downs with these real estate agents, and being a loan officer, you're going to, you got to kind of play the part, and you listen to the realtor complaining about business and life and stuff. And in my head, I was always just thinking, why doesn't this guy just get on the phone and call somebody instead of spending all this negative energy towards that? So when I became a realtor, I took my own advice, and on day one, I was cold calling. I'd have the left side of my computer screen with the day's expireds, and the right side of my computer screen with whitepages.com, trying to find all the phone numbers. That was my only technology. Even my phone had a cord. And I came in the office at 7 o'clock every day, be on the phone at 8 o'clock on the dot. I remember every day looking at that clock saying 800, and I would cold call all day long. When I got through the expireds, I'd go to FSBOs, no CRM, no website, no Zillow, no nothing, just old school cold calling. And then when I got through the expires, I'd run out of those. I go to Craigslist and call the FSBOs. So That's how I started. It was a bumpy road, but I mean, our first year we did all right.
Wow. That's awesome. How many did you close your first year?
I did a couple million in sales. So our average sale price was about $80,000. I'm in West Michigan, so at that point was about $80,000. So I'm going to say probably closed about 25 homes or so that first year. Yeah. So I mean, it was. I'm a better agent today because I started back then. It wasn't fun, and I don't ever want to go through that, and I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah. But I am not who I am today if I didn't learn how to grind back then.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge, especially when you get started as a brand new agent. It's like, some agents don't pick up the phone at all, and it's amazing.
You listen to people complain how to get leads. It says, well, we have a lead machine right here.
It sure is. That's awesome. So how long have you been doing this, Jason?
Well, that was 2008 when I got my license. In November of 2008 is when I got my real estate license. So 23 years total in the industry. Wow. I've been on this side of the business for 12 years.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. That is awesome. So are you still in production yourself, or are you more just building a team on it?
Yeah. I've really phased out the personal production. I have a large team. We have 22 agents on our team. So a little different now. Still lead generation is my number one job, managing the systems and making sure everybody on my team's fed. We will do probably somewhere about 180 transactions this year, give or take. Between 170, 190 transactions. I'll probably do between 7 to 10 out of those. them, just personal referrals, personal listings. I'm not out showing houses anymore, that stuff. But I'm very busy. I mean, I'm very easily still putting in the 40 to 50 hours a week.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, managing agents is a whole nother job in itself. I mean,
and growing the business and recruiting and trying new lead systems, and it is a full time. It is a lot of work, but I'm having a blast.
Awesome.
I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
That is huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
So when did you actually get out of production? How many years ago?
I stepped out. I've came back and forth. So it's been about a year and a half where I really phased it down. Pretty much when I came to EXP, I really dialed it down. I stopped cold calling, and because I've been cold calling, working the expireds and physicals myself personally until the end of last year. During COVID, I did pick that back up though. I did pick up the phone and start cold calling again during COVID, during our lockdown in Michigan, and because we were locked down, and I picked up the phone and actually started cold calling quite a bit, and even got a listing out of it through
awesome.
Zoom. Yeah, that was fun. So yeah, I don't know if that really answers your question. But it's probably been about 15 months before. It's been almost 2 years now since I've been out of it, and on at least a part-time basis.
Okay, that makes it. Yeah, so I find it's kind of like a touch and go. You know, when you're transitioning into that, it's you touch, you go, you touch, you go, because sometimes you put it in place and it doesn't work right, and then you have to get back in production and generate some income. Is that kind of what you found?
Yeah, what I'm finding now that is when you look at a dollar per hour activity, actually taking listings or working directly with clients is not the best dollar per hour activity for myself, where I'm at in my career. So that's just not where I should be investing my time. It's not in the best interest of the business.
That makes sense.
That's why I'm focusing more on the business. I always tell people, chase the business, not the deals, and working on that as opposed to chasing my next deal.
That makes a ton of sense. Now, if you wanted to give some advice to a team leader out there that might be trying to grow to the point you're at now, at what point would you recommend they step out? When do you know it's right?
6 months reserves. That's going to be first and foremost. You need to have 6 months in the bank. You got to be able to weather a bumpy road. And by the way, that 6 months reserves, you also include your salary. You should be paying yourself a salary every single month. So in that whatever that is, times that by 6, that's a minimum. I wouldn't even think about getting out of production. That's why actually I got back on the phone during COVID, because I dipped it into my reserves and said, well, I guess I need to make some money again. So that's 6 months reserves is number one. Your system's got to be dialed in. Your follow-up has to be dialed in, and I'm going to say systems a lot. Every single part of your business needs to be scalable. If you can't scale it, don't do it. And when you get to that part, then you just start get to the point. It's like, does it make sense for me to take a half noon of 2 hours off in the afternoon to go do a listing appointment, or should I be working on a project?
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, is there like a certain transaction number you should be hitting, or is there a certain profit margin per month?
That's going to, I try to keep it, my profit margin really is going to be, I try to keep mine around 35%. You mentioned that. That's, I think, pretty much industry standard for teams. But that number is going to be different for everybody. I would like to think you're probably going to have at least 15 agents. That seemed to be my point where I had the option. Say, okay, now we should start really looking at that. So it's going to be different for everybody, though. Different price points. And even here in West Michigan, my average price point is about $200,000. We're with somebody in New York City, where our average price point, $200,000 doesn't get you a parking spot. So it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be an exact number across the board. So, but the reserves has to happen. They have to have 6 months reserves, and they got to have strong systems in place.
Okay. And you're finding the sweet spot is somewhere around 15 agents or more.
For me, it was 15 agents. And I've heard other people tell me that. My coach just told me, my coach, Michael Helgson with Club Wealth, he told me 15 agents. So that's what I've heard, and that's what it was for me. It might be different for other people in different price points.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, that makes a ton of sense. Mm-hmm. And then, so just out of curiosity, there might be some sole agents on here watching, and they're like, hey, I hear about these teams. Should I start one? What made you want to, go forward and start a team?
It's not for everybody. It is. It definitely, it's a different skill set to manage a team than it is to be a great agent. You can be a great agent and a horrible team leader. So they're two different muscles. So this definitely isn't for everybody. it was right for me because lead generation that's where it started. I was really good at leads, and I personally didn't enjoy working with buyers. So I hired a buyer's agent just to take the buyers off my plate because I personally hated it, to be honest with you. And I said, I just don't want to do this anymore. After about 4 or 5 buyers, I said, this isn't my thing. So that's where it came from me. It was just, I had extra leads. I wanted to grow the business and keep growing, only having so many hours in the day and not enjoying the buyer process. So I just wanted to keep generating these leads because the buyer leads were easy for me and just but get those out of my hair. It just wasn't my thing.
Okay. That makes a ton of sense. And how long ago did you actually start your team?
First year, 2009.
Wow.
Wow, that was when I hired my first buyer's agent. Yeah, my team really didn't take off until probably about 3-4 years ago when I actually started coaching. But I was usually hovering around 2 or 3 buyer's agents on my team, and I was cold calling in full production. So, but I literally, it probably was the 3rd or 4th buyer that I worked in my life, and I said, I just didn't want to do this anymore. I remember the buyer wanted a ranch home, and they kept picking out 2-story homes, and we'd go pull the house, and they would insult it walking in. I'm like, they're not buying this home. Why am I here? Yeah. And we'd have to go through it, and you have to smile and play the part, and it doesn't fit my personality. I guess I'm too high D. If you were on the disc thing. So
this profile test.
This profile, exactly So it just wasn't for me. So I hired a buyer's agent right away, just so I didn't have to do that work.
That's huge. And you noticed a big difference right away.
Oh, yeah. I just happier. So I didn't have to do it. I mean, it takes so much time unlocking doors, and, you take a buyer out, could take them 3 months of showing them houses, and it just wasn't for me.
That's huge. Yeah, I get it.
Some people love it. Some people love it, and it's up their alley, and they don't like listings, and that's their strength. It just wasn't my strength.
Yeah, some people do love it. I have a couple girls on the team. That's all they want to do is show buyers houses, and that's great because it works out perfect. You know what I mean?
We now have showing assistants on our team to actually take some of the showings off the buyers' plates. So, that's a great place for an agent to start on my team is actually just unlocking the doors.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
The buyer's agent. Yep.
So they kind of work with your buyer's agents as showing.
Yeah, a lot of times what I do is, if an agent's slow, I don't have a dedicated showing assistant person on my team, but it's perfect for the newbies as they're learning. They get some great experience. I mean, their instructions are to unlock the door and don't say anything. Just, get us feedback and stay out of the way. But it's good experience for them to get some practice showing houses. And also, sometimes, agents are just, hey, I'm slow. I could use a couple bucks, and they're happy to step up and fill in and help out some of the other agents that are really busy right now.
That's awesome. Okay. That's really good. So how did that growth, progression go? So you started with a couple buyer's agents, and then what did that look like picking up? Because you've grown the team to 22 agents now?
Yeah, we're up to 22 now. We got our 22nd added. Actually, I think he onboarded today. So, so how did it grow? I mean, it was just, I really wanted to, I just focused on the business, and my business is scalable. And I could take on probably another 5 to 7 agents just like that by just simply turning up the volume on my lead generation. So my business is completely scalable. I'm looking at other markets right now. I'm in Southeast Florida. I just opened that up, and I'm kicking around another market. And, but that's, it's a plug and play system that we built as far as lead generation and the follow-up.
That's huge. Okay. That's really good. Now, how about the admin piece of things? Is that something that you dove into right away? Did you get an admin?
No, I screwed that up. And if I was going to do it again, I probably would start with the admin before the buyer's agent. I grew really fast, and we had to blow up. We actually just got done blowing up the admin department and starting over again. We grew real fast. When I came to EXP 15 months ago, I was a team of 3, and we're up to 22 now. Wow. I was a team of 3 with a part-time agent and a part-time admin. And as we grew up, I maintained having a part-time admin. So I goofed that part up. Same person. We just said, hey, you're full-time, your salary, and we are now a department. This is something that's actually just happened in the last few months. So having a team of 20 and a part-time admin, that was bumpy, and that was my mess up. So, but we fixed that up. It's good though. It's I like where we're at right now, and I like where Heather's her name. She's done a phenomenal job, and I like where we're going.
That makes a ton of sense. Now, if someone's out there, they're starting their team and they're thinking about hiring an admin, what should they be looking for, and what can they expect to pay an admin, for a good quality person?
So, I think that's again going to be market specific because again, in Michigan, where our standard of living is a lot lower. I mean, I rather not broadcast what I paid her, but I probably couldn't get away with what paying her, you know, what I do here as I would in, let's say, New York City or Los Angeles. So, let's be fair. So, but I think a licensed admin that does 3 deals a year would be big for someone starting to do, because what you can do is you actually get an override on those 3 deals. So if you are paying them an hourly wage, you get to write it off, and then hopefully you're getting a little bit more of that money back by them selling a couple deals a year. Plus, I mean, I can call Heather and ask her to write up a purchase agreement or an addendum or something like that, and she can legally do that. And she also knows how our MLS and our association works. So I would probably look for maybe an agent that's a good person, that's very detailed, that just isn't generating a ton of business, that would like some sort of consistency, and see if you can take them under your wing as an admin. Almost every large brokerage has 100 of those agents in their office. That'd be probably a great place to start.
That's a really good hack. That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there any, like, you know, because bringing someone on is easy, but, you know, having them do exactly what you want them to do is a whole separate thing. You mentioned systems a couple of times. Is there anything that you'd recommend for building out a system for the admin?
Yeah, you know, well, first of all, you got to be able to step away, and that's one thing a lot of agents like to get their deals and they want to hold their deals. You got to be disciplined enough to tell yourself to get the heck out of the way. You hired this person for a reason. Let them do their job. And that's where a lot of agents are going to drop the balls. They're going to hire an admin and then poke on that admin and want updates. And not that updates aren't good, but let them do their job. So that's number one. Everything with us, you know, checklists, we use our CRM system. So it's an automated checklist. So every time Heather logs in, she's going to have her daily tasks. It's right on her computer screen because we create our action plans, just like every other CRM hopefully has an action plan. Our action plans is filled with tasks. And that's how we submit a deal to pending. We start the action plan. An agent starts an action plan and assigns her to the loop, and then we get out of the way as agents and let her take it. So, but have some sort of checklist, very clear and defined checklist. And if you got a good admin, that they should be able to just follow the checklist.
That makes a lot of sense.
And let the admin also, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I wanted feedback from Heather when we sat down and said, what does this look like? I wanted her to help me create this position. And it's also moving. We change it. Everything can be changed. So don't be too perfect. We're too proud. We're not open to suggestions on how to make it better from your admin.
That's a good point. Okay, and now you mentioned the tasks. So are you using like Follow Up Boss or something? I know you.
I love Sierra Interactive.
Okay.
I run my business from Sierra, and I can't say. I mean, I don't think there's a perfect CRM system out there. If there was a perfect one, we'd all use it. But Sierra is the hub for our business, for leads, website, CRM. That's where everything. Our dialer, text messaging, everything is Sierra.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, and
I can't say enough good things. We switched them 2 years ago. It's been 2 years. I can't say enough good things about them.
And you were with Follow Up Boss right before?
You're a Follow Up Boss, and the top producer before that. Follow Up Boss was great too. I was with my company's provided website that it just wasn't performing the way we wanted to perform. So we had to switch to a new website, and Sierra, actually I did it for the lead generation and the website, but I said, well, it comes with the CRM, so why do I have to have 2 CRMs? That's the only reason why I got rid of Follow Up Boss. It's also a great product. It's a lot cheaper than Sierra. So it's a nice system too.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wanted to get your feedback on that because that's what we're currently using. I just didn't know if there was a good
I haven't used it in 2 years, but I remember when I got rid of it, it was only because it didn't make sense to have 2 CRMs.
2 CRMs.
That was the reason why I got rid of it. But I'm a fan of Follow Up Boss too.
Okay, so Sierra just has a front end and the back end, whereas Follow Up Boss is just the back end.
The one thing that you might want to consider here, Chris, is that our drips are video text drips, and it also has slide dial built into it. So if you're familiar with slide dial, where I can actually, Chris, if I want to talk to you, but I don't want to have a conversation, I can call you and actually get around you and into your voicemail. Let's just go right to your voicemail. So my drips, we don't do email drips. That's not something we do. Our drips are video text and slide dial. 2 years ago, Follow Boss didn't have those tools, and I don't need to get Bomb or something else. So it was all one system. I'll tell you this, Chris. I have, and I could document this. I have 100% response rate from all leads.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, 100%. It's a response rate, not a buy. So, and response can mean a lot of different things, and I'll just leave it at that. But we do have I can document it. I can show anybody my CRM says I have 100% response rate from every lead that gives us a phone number.
Wow, that's huge. That is huge. I mean, I'm way lower than that. I'm probably closer to 30, 30.
We could talk off here. I'll show you my CRM system.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, be happy to do that.
That'd be great. Because I know that's one big question too. A lot of agents have is what CRM should I plug into? And some agents don't even have a CRM, which kind of blows my mind.
You need to have something. I mean, you got to have something. So, and even a basic one. There's some cheap ones out there, and if you don't need anything fancy, the cheap ones are fine. But everybody has to. That's got to be the first piece of technology everybody has. Frankly, every broker should be even providing it.
100%.
For their agent. There's no reason not to.
It blows my mind, but they're out there doing it. So So shifting back to the agents, you kind of blew up from 3 to 4 to almost 22 now. So there has to be some piece you're doing as recruiting goes.
When I was with my previous brokerage, a great brokerage, and it was one of the larger big box brokerages, and it was a great experience there, but it was just very expensive there, and they actually charged me per month per agent on my team. And I had a large, I think we were up to 12 at when I was there, and because I was paying each agent, I had to literally write a check every month for each agent. My monthly bill was between $6,000 to $8,000. And here's the thing. So if, you're paying $500 a month for an agent, and again, I don't want to badmouth this company. That was what I agreed to. And that was their business model, which is fine. And I did agree to it. So it's my fault too. But if you hire a newbie off the street, and if it takes them 3 months to sell a house, we're chasing even at this point and hoping they sell a house. And if and sometimes not everybody sells 20 homes a year. So I actually scaled down to a team of 3 when I left that brokerage and came to EXP. And then I basically started my business over 15 months ago. And it's gone up so much since we came here. So we're up 150% this year over year. Wow.
That's big. So you went from doing maybe, correct me if I'm doing the math wrong here, 75 to about 100.
My last year at my last brokerage there, I did 88 deals. On pace for 180. Wow. So at the end of 2018, let's say that number, it was 88 deals, and we're in Michigan, so I'm probably going to be slowing down here as the snow flies, unfortunately, here in a few months. But we're jamming.
Yeah, I get it. I'm in that same kind of market over in Rhode Island, so it's tough. Boston, Rhode Island, it's same thing. Snow flies, everybody calms down. It comes in cycles. All right, so that makes a ton of sense. So you boosted up to 22. It sounds like you had some overhead, some fixed costs at the old brokerage. You got rid of that, so now you feel more free to bring a lot more people on. Is there anything specifically you're doing to recruit? Because I know that's a big pain point.
Yeah, I like. I used to use Wise Hire. I'm still a fan of Wise Hire. I'm just not currently using it right now. I like using Indeed. I use Indeed a ton. With also with our model here at EXP with the revenue share, and I'm not here to, it's not. There's different brokerages for everybody out here, but with revenue share, where actually the brokerage compensates us for helping grow the company, not just my team, but the company. Yes. My agents are recruiting agents for the team.
That's good. Wow.
With that, off the top of my head, I bet you half my team. I bet you between 40 to 50% of my team came from another agent on my team.
Wow.
So that's, and obviously they're helping me grow my business. It's been awesome. And they love it too. My agents love it. The agents that have really dove into the recruiting. I was talking to one of my agents today. She made $1,000 this month, and from revenue share, not from commission. So she's like, her business is down. She had a great summer, but she's kind of do the ebb and flow of the business, and she's down right now. She's been through some stuff too, which we heard of business. She said, but I still got $1,000 from my brokerage for helping growing my team. That's not out of my pocket. It's not like I'm paying her $1,000. That was from my brokerage. So again, that's not to pitch EHB, but that has had a lot to do with when I started over. That was one of the reasons why I switched to this brokerage, because my broker is actually going to help me grow my team.
That is huge. That's something that not too many people think of, because I know, traditional teams that are at traditional brokerages. I mean, I'm sure some agents might send someone here and there, but it's really not their, incentive to do so. So that's
usually
great.
brokerages lose money off teams, or they don't make as much. They make more money off the solo agent than they will teams. So, yeah. I remember at my last brokerage, I gave one agent a better split than my broker was going to give him. So,
wow.
so we were competing, and I give him a better split. So, but
that's awesome. That is awesome.
That happened one time. So,
yeah, that's great. So the EXP thing is pretty interesting. Now that must go into the retention piece as well, because a
who's
lot
going
of
to leave me?
When they
Sure.
get that residual, they don't want to leave, and
no,
is that helping
absolutely.
in that sense?
So every quarter, and I'm pretty good at recruiting, so I try every quarter to take out whoever the top producer was that quarter, and I try to help them by growing, adding, and trying to add a person to that person's downline. But just talking about that same agent, or just if somebody's making a 500, 1,000, or 2,000 a month from revenue share, you think they're going to quit and go to a ABC brokerage or a discount brokerage or a 100% brokerage when they're making a couple grand aside every single month?
No way.
No
way.
No.
Absolutely not. Not a chance. Not a chance.
I'll be honest. I'm on pace. I'll make somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 this year just for my revenue share.
Wow.
And if EXP pisses me off and does something, do you think I'm walking away from 50 grand?
No, most likely not.
No, so that's math.
No way.
So
that's pretty interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, how do you work it out? So this is a question that I think a lot of people have. They go on to EXP, they start building their team up. Now, say someone comes to you and like, hey, I want to really get involved. They want to go on, they want to sign on. You can recruit them, but they might not necessarily be a good fit for your team. How do you work that? Do they just work on an expansion team, or
sure?
What's that look like?
I have that conversation a lot because I had a wonderful agent. I had lunch with this great agent today, and we were talking, and I flat out, she does a lot of business on her own. She'll probably do about 10 to 12 million this year off the top of my head. And nice. and I even told her, I says, to go off my split and now to work my leads, and then me taking a more unfavorable split for your leads. It doesn't make sense. I flat out told her that just being honest. I said, but this is why you should really consider this. Let's look at what you're doing right now and your check at the end of the year, and let's look at what your check can be now and the growth potential. So I try to be honest with that. I'll talk to part-time agents. I don't allow part-time agents on my team. So if you're part-time, you're welcome to EXP. You're welcome to use my office space. You're welcome to use me, but I need full-time agents only on my team. Sometimes there might be somebody who's just not a fit, and for whatever reason, and those people I might let's move on.
Yeah, that makes sense. People. Okay. That makes a ton of sense. So you do like mix them together. So if someone comes on and signs on, you let them use your office space, and that's kind of how it goes.
Yep. Now, I provide coaching, so I'll coach with them. If whatever they're been in the business for 23 years, I don't know everything, but I'm going to act like I do, and I'm happy to help them grow their business.
That's huge. Okay, so pretty much they're getting the coaching piece. They're going to be a part of your come into your office when they need to use it. And do they jump on like team meeting calls or anything like that? How's that work?
My team has a morning huddle 3 days a week. But if you're a solo agent, there's no reason for you to. I wouldn't invite you because there's no reason for that. That's going to be team business, and it's not relevant to their lives. So, anywhere I can help out, I will. This awesome agent from a little town called Mount Pleasant, Michigan. She kicks butt. She's awesome, and she was with a big box brokerage with a ridiculous split, and she came over, and she was a solo agent working 1,000 hours a week, and she now has a team, and I'm happy to be there for her and happy to be part of the ride for that. So, but she picks my brain, and she doesn't do everything I say, but I'm just told her, I said, hey, I'm just going to tell you what I would do, and you can do what you want to do with that information and go from there. So, but so awesome. I provide services like that.
That makes a ton of sense. Okay. All right. That's actually pretty cool. That's actually really cool. All right. So like what training and systems do you have in place for the agents that actually are on your team that they've liked, that they've used a lot? What things have been like the biggest impact?
So I have an agent on my team who is awesome. Her name's Amber, and she handles 95% of our onboarding and showing them the systems. And so the first thing what you do is we set them up into Sierra, kind of show them how our drip campaigns, how to build a drip campaign, how to build the videos, and kind of walks them around those steps from there. My admin teaches them .loop and kind of fills in the rest there. From there, what we do is we do training calls every week. I have a calendar link that I give to everybody and say, hey, you can book an hour with me. And I've several times set up. And something we just started implementing is every other Friday, I'm going to do a Zoom training. I let the team, we run a poll, and I let the team pick whatever the subject is. And on every Friday, I will do a training off whatever, every other Friday, we'll do a training off whatever subject they picked.
Oh, that's really good. Okay. Yeah. That's really good. That's awesome. And now, before, I don't know if you made the switch before COVID hit, but is it primarily Zoom for convenience, or is it more because, what's going on with
I got into Zoom because of COVID. I mean, that's when I got the upgraded version. So, I guess, I live in a rural market. I got agents kind of scattered out a little bit, and I also got agents in Florida. So we can't really meet at the office. It's not practical. So I've been using Zoom since COVID, and I'm keeping my subscription. I just started this week using the Facebook rooms. I do kind of like that too. I'm going to play around with that a little bit too.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. So in Florida, it's more or less an expansion team, but are you still providing leads?
So the story is, one of my agents, her name's Kelly. She's awesome. So she was with my team here in Michigan, in Grand Rapids, and about a year ago, she said, I am sick of our winters. I'm going to Southeast Florida, going to Boca. So, and no one's going to tell Kelly no. So, so if you're watching this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So she went to Florida. She went to a big box brokerage. She actually went to a team at one. It got 0 leads, and she knew no connections, knew nothing.
Oh, wow.
Not that she's an awesome, didn't have the skills, but she wasn't getting anything. And during that about 6 months or so she was there, she was driving me nuts and say, hey, Jason, nobody's doing what we're doing. You need to do this. You need to do this. And finally, after 6 months, I said, well, all right, well, let's give it a try. And this was right before COVID. Right before COVID was a thing, and she put up a $600,000 deal like within a week and a half. COVID hit, and those of you familiar with Palm Beach and Boca Raton, a lot of that traffic comes from New York, New Jersey, East Coast, and also Europe. And obviously, we ran into an unexpected slowdown with European traffic and East Coast traffic. So we kind of had to reboot that once the COVID opened up, but it's been fun. So right now, we probably got about, off the top of my head, probably close to about 1.2, 1.3 pending right now down there. So, and we're still new down there, but it's been cool. It's been fun.
That's awesome. That is cool.
Yeah. I followed her. I didn't pick out. It wasn't like I want this area. I'm a desert guy, so if I was going to do anything, I'd do Phoenix. But I followed. I had a great agent down there, so I trust Kelly. I trust Kelly with all my heart, and so I followed Kelly. That's the only reason why I picked Southeast Florida. It's a great area, but I was going there for Kelly, not for the beach.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That's actually really cool how you can do that with EXP is different markets, and that's actually a really big thing.
Yeah,
so
it's one split for the entire country, so I didn't have to. It's not like I have to find an office down there or anything like that and pay a second split or a second set of desk fees and all that other jazz.
Yeah, that's huge. That is huge. So Jason, what 3 major things should team leaders focus on to have big success?
I think I've said systems 20 times. So reserves, you need to have reserves. You got to take the pressure off you, or where you can step away from the business. So you need to have a minimum of 6 months reserves on you. Everything has to be systemized, or you're working to turn it into a system. And you have to have multiple lead sources. You can't just say, hey, I spent a bunch of money on Zillow, let's build a team. You have to have as many lead sources as you possibly can, and keep adding lead sources. So, we talk about systems of scalability. If you're going to be just a Zillow or just a Realtor.com and just one source or 2 sources or limited sources, you're the one that's going to get scaled. As Zillow has changed how many times over the last 5 years, Realtor.com has become an op city. These, if you're, I know agents who are just love Realtor, and I do use Realtor.com. I do like their leads. So, but if Realtor.com cuts us all off, or Zillow cuts us all off, or changes or jacks their fees up, the Zillow Realtor.com agents, they're really, really going to be in trouble. So you need as many lead sources as possible.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. Okay, so systems, leads,
Reserves.
and reserves.
Yep.
Okay, that's actually really good. That's awesome advice. Now, what lead sources do you specifically recommend for teams?
I love I'll tell you what I do. I love my pay-per-click. I manage my own pay-per-click.
Okay.
Um, I love my social media stuff. I manage my own social media retargeting. Um, Frankly, don't discount Craigslist. I'm not going to tell you you're going to get the best leads, but the return on investment on Craigslist is one of my best because Craigslist is free. So
Yeah.
I do like Craigslist.
Yeah.
Along with that, you could even start looking at like some like garage sale rooms and stuff like that, and with Facebook. But I do like my Realtor.com. I use Referral Exchange, ZBuyer, is leads like candy. Some of you guys are going to know. People watch this know about leads like candy. ZBuyer has been a good one for listing leads. I'm just using them for listing leads. I do have an ISA for expireds and FSBOs. And I'm doing that off the top of my head. I feel like I have more than that, but I think I have 16, but I think I just rattled off about 10 of them. So
That's
I'm
good.
sure there's more.
That's really
I'm sure
good.
there's, yeah. But
Now,
but here's the thing. So like personally, my Facebook, Chris and I have been Facebook friends here. I got hacked. I wound up in Facebook jail, and I lost Facebook for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I had 8 weeks of no Facebook, so I lost all of my Facebook as a lead source, and it sucked. But I had 10 other lead sources. So it's not like I was closing up shop. So when I
yes.
talk to agents, we did mention referrals too. Referrals are in there too. So, but some agents rely on Facebook, rely on social media, and it is a great lead source. I love those leads. But if you're a social media only person and you get hacked, and this hacker posts pictures on Facebook that are not appropriate, and you get kicked off Facebook, what does that do to your business? It hurt me, but it didn't end me. And if that's your only source of leads, you need to diversify. You're over leveraged. That's no different. There's a lot of agents out there that I'm referral only, and I love my referrals. The referral business is really going away if you look at the national numbers. It's not as important to some of these buyers that you sold their father 15 homes. They're looking at, they have all the information in front of you. So, referral should be, again, another pillar. But if you're going to be a referral only agent, some of these brokers might not want to hear this, but you're getting dinosaured out.
It's true. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Now, what's your take on Zillow and like portal leads?
I use them. I would, if I had a choice, I'd like to see them go away, but
yeah.
I do use them because I know that the buyers are there and our clients want to see us there. So I'm not heavy into Zillow. In my market, Zillow is about $250 a lead at $200,000 average sales price. So you can do the math. It just doesn't really make much sense. So I don't do a lot of Zillow, but Realtor.com is a lot cheaper in my market. So that's why I'm a little heavier over there with just a little bit of Zillow. They're a great lead source. They're good leads. They're very expensive. On a personal level, like a lot of you guys, a lot of people are going to watch this. I would rather them not be there, but they are there. And I think we need to learn to live with them instead of trying to figure out how to get rid of them because they're not going away.
It's true. It's true. I mean, the big question with that is that the leads are getting so expensive with Zillow, and they are good quality. I agree. I invest in Zillow leads as well. But are you still seeing like an ROI with those leads at this point?
With the Realtor.com leads, I am. My Zillow, I am in so few markets in very rural areas that, we're getting a good ROI, but it's not moving my needle as far as profits, just because it's just in a couple different markets. I probably still check Zillow once every 10 days and to see if there's something I could pick up. I would like to expand Zillow, but in my market at the current price, I mean, they tell you what expected ROI is, and in my market, it's negative. I mean, they're like, no, you'll lose. Zillow tells me I'll lose money if I sign up with them. So, so I mean, you can log in and see what your ROI is going to be, and it's below 1.
Well, yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Okay. Yeah. I get it. So, it's tough. Yeah. It's becoming tougher too with Zillow because every agent wants to be involved with it because it's turnkey. Turnkey leads. So.
I mean, they're getting it from other agents, and maybe they're just better agents. They can figure it out. But I just haven't been able, with the current price cost per lead, I just can't figure it out. Even splitting it with a lender or whatever, it just hasn't made sense for me.
No, it's tough.
Realtor.com has been a lot cheaper, and I do like the Realtor.com. I would like to expand Realtor.com, actually. That's one of my things.
Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about that. as of now. So that's good. So so Jason, what, you're investing a lot of money into leads. You're putting a lot of time into this, but what expectations you kind of like set for your agents and hold them to?
Yeah. This is one area I need to improve with. So I have a policy that if you don't got 3 pending, you need to spend 3 hours a day in our pond. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't done a very good job enforcing it. That is on my to-do list to start dropping the hammer there. So my sweet spot for my team is to take agents doing 3 to 4 deals a year and turning them into about 24-ish. And that's, when I'm budgeting everything out, I'd like to see everybody somewhere around 24 closings a year. And with my systems, I don't think there's any reason not to. So other than just either not using good scripts or not working. I don't know why. If you're working and using good scripts and I'm going to give you 50 leads a month, I just need you closing 2 deals a month out of those 50. I mean, that's it.
Yep.
That's it. And then you're doing 24 deals a year, and we're all happy. So I do need to. That is a weak spot of mine. I do need to improve that. I hope my coach isn't watching this.
It's tough sometimes with the especially with the amount of agents you have to keep track of what every single person's doing, and it makes sense. But that's interesting. So you're looking to do about 24 per agent.
That's my goal for everybody, and we are not hitting those goals. So, but that is my goal.
That's a good goal. That's really good.
So we talk about the 80-20 rule. I think probably, you're going to have a lot of that on teams too. 80% of the business is done by 20% of the agents. And I mean, no disrespect to anybody on the team. That's just, numbers are numbers. So, but I'm real happy with where we're at though. I think everybody's working really hard, and the ones that are struggling are working real hard to pick it up too.
That's huge.
So if I didn't have confidence in them, they wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I like that. That makes a lot of sense, especially with the big investment that you put into them. Anybody you bring on the team, you're investing a lot of money, time, resources. So that's a good point.
I tell her every time their phone goes off, that was money on my bank account. I use that as. It sounds like my mother trying to guilt me to doing something, but yeah, that's it sounds like my old Jewish mother.
That's great. That's awesome. So Jason, what made you move to EXP? I'm sure you've got approached a couple times before you decided.
Yeah, I actually started looking at EXP in 2017, and I just couldn't take it seriously. I guess my mind wasn't in the right spot at that point. At the end of 2018, my coach made me do a profit loss statement, and I said, "Holy smokes! I spent $95,000 when it was around between 90 and 95,000. I don't remember the exact number, but it was up there in the 90s. When I started figuring broker fees, franchise fees, all that stuff over the year, that's how much I spent for that office, and
that's tough.
I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't spend that kind of money. It was a great broker. I can't say enough good things about the people there. Everything was great. It was just became a business decision, and I did try to talk to them, and the negotiation wasn't going anywhere where I needed to be. So I had to really take things seriously. I looked at a couple other brokerages, kind of felt more lateral. I am a broker, so I thought about just I just had to join the MLS, and I was done. But it seemed to make sense, and when you calculate the revenue share, when you calculate the stock awards, I'm on the other side of 100%. So for me, I talk to agents and they'll brag about, I have a $4,000 cap. You have a $16,000 cap. So I said, no, you don't understand. During COVID, EXP paid my mortgage. EXP made my car payments.
That is awesome.
You don't understand the power of that in May when life sucked and my personal bills were taken care of by my broker. I don't know. I mean, maybe there is other ones out there, and if there was a perfect brokerage, we'd all be at that brokerage. But that's why I came here. It was a business. It came down to numbers.
Okay, that's huge. That's huge. Now, I know you mentioned you were a broker. That's one snippet I just caught. Yep. What made you decide? Because this is a big question that a lot of people ask.
Sure.
What made you decide to go to EXP versus starting your own franchise or starting your own independent solo brokerage?
So if you're going to be a broker, this is in my market. I'm going to look around here and I'm going to say something, and I don't mean any disrespect to any of the brokers out there. I find the small to medium brokerages, the broker still has to sell homes. Because there's not enough money in being a broker. I don't know if it's like you then, Chris, but we have a lot of, and maybe they want it. Maybe each situation is different. Maybe some brokers want to sell homes. They enjoy it. I tend to think I'm going to say at least most of those is because they don't make enough money owning a brokerage. I don't think there's as much money as people think is, unless you're going to be huge. I did the math. It didn't seem to make sense. The other thing is doing accounting, dealing with trusts, dealing with audits, that doesn't sound like fun. That's time out of my day. That doesn't sound enjoyable. At some point, I'll be able to sell my stock at EXP. I don't know if I could possibly sell the Lash Group. I mean, maybe it's possible, but that'd be a little harder. And it's in all 50 states and 6 provinces of Canada. So there was more opportunities of growth. So all that stuff came in a checklist of what do I want to do, and I'm still able to brand myself. It's not like I lost the ability to brand myself. So I didn't really see what I was losing.
Okay.
By joining EXP. They kind of took the junk off my plate.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I didn't want to do
all the back end paperwork, dealing with. Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. That's not the fun things you want to be doing. And in some senses, it's not profitable. It's just
it's time out of your day. I mean, if somebody got in trouble with grievance or pro standards, and then I have to deal with that instead of running a business. So, and that's what comes with being a broker. And I just didn't want to do that stuff. So
that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. That makes a ton of sense.
I mean, I don't have to deal with accounting.
The brokerage route, you just crunched the numbers and decided
just crunched the numbers, and none of that stuff. It didn't excite me. It didn't sound like fun. I mean, doing payroll doesn't sound like fun, and none of that sounded like that. That was too. It wasn't exciting me.
Yeah, so, that makes sense. Now,
let me interrupt you, Chris. But being a broker, because the Lash Group actually is a brokerage, we're licensed at the state of Michigan. We're just not members of the MLS. So the way I am set up here, and I encourage everybody to do, I'm an S corp, is that I pay myself a base salary. So I'm a W-2 wage earner, and then we just take ownership distributions. If we're going on vacation or want to do something, I just write myself a check as an ownership distribution. According to my CPA, I'm saving about $7,000 a year in taxes by doing it this way.
Yep. I have the same setup. I love it. It's great. It's the best way to do it. So tell us one thing that's really intriguing, and I think it's probably intriguing to a lot of other agents as well, is the downline with EXP. So how does that work? What does it look like? Just a quick outline of that.
Yeah. So again, I've only been with the company. We're on month 15, going on month 16. So it's June of 2019 when I switched over here. So I put most of my energy in my team and recruiting my team, not necessarily recruiting outside of my team. Yeah. I probably got 8 or 9 people outside of my team, the solo agents that I've brought in, somewhere around there. So, I mean, the EXP doesn't want to broadcast our numbers. Actually, I think that's part of the terms of our employment. But having that base, that security blanket of, let's say, I don't know where I'll finish this year, but somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000, hopefully in that area, having that to fall back on is huge. And I can reinvest that into my business, we got paid revenue share today. And so today was like, I had a nice chunk of change wired into my account, and I didn't have to sell a house for it. It just came with being with EXP. So it's been huge. It's helped create some balance. But I really, really felt it. I tell everybody, I try to be somebody who takes care of the family, takes care of the bills. That's just something personally I take pride on. And to know that all my bills were taken care of when we were locked into our houses during COVID, that's when that's when the power really hit me. It's like, I'll be okay. No matter what happens, my family will be okay. So
that's huge. Yeah, that is huge. That's awesome. So one of the big objections, and this is probably my biggest objection to it, is the actual office space. So I know a lot of agents don't want the office space; they don't need it, and I totally understand that. But I personally believe, and I think you feel the same way, because you do have an office.
I have an office.
To grow a team, it's good to have everybody in that environment, calling, prospecting, you do prospecting nights, meet clients, things like that. So it is nice to have. How big of a hurdle was that for you to find an office and get that all set up?
There was a lot of office space right now. To my understanding, the commercial market's just getting smashed with COVID. So there's probably even more opportunities right now. But there are a lot of different office spaces out there, just listed on the MLS and our local commercial MLS, even Craigslist. I actually think I found my office space on Craigslist. So it wasn't hard. I got to pick and choose what I wanted in an office. It was actually, there was a lot of opportunities for that. So for me, it wasn't expensive. I spent $950 a month, includes all utilities and everything. I got 1,000 square feet office with all windows. I mean, real estate's a lot cheaper probably in my market compared to yours. So, but it was a no-brainer. The one thing about EXP, they say there's no offices. That's a little bit of a misconception. The EXP just gives you the power to do whatever you want to do. As long as it's moral, legal, and profitable, you should do it. So if you want an office space, there's plenty of EXP offices. There's plenty of agents in Michigan that have offices. There are offices all over the place. A lot of people don't see the need for that expense, so they work out of home. It's whatever it's not it's cloud-based, comes with a stigma and a misunderstanding. No, you can have an office. Just go to an office. Each state's got their own requirements. Go open an office. So, personally, I got 2 kids. I'm married. I got 2 cats. I got a puppy. I can't work from home. It just doesn't work. I'm in my home office right now. That's very messy. You can see baseball's up there. So I do have a home office. I'm in my home office as we speak. But it just doesn't work for me. So I needed a place to go.
Okay. All right. That makes a lot of sense. That's pretty good. And now, have you seen, what do your agents think about that? Do they like the office? Do they not like it?
I don't require agents to come into my office. We're going to be a little more rural. So we probably cover about 150 square miles. That's so I got agents. I got off the top of my head. There's agents a half an hour that several agents that live about 30 minutes from my office. And so to make them come on in every single day, it's just not the best use of time. With Sierra, I can monitor whatever everybody is doing to make sure that they are working. Yeah. I don't. You come to my office with 1,000 square feet. You're probably me, my admin, my ISA. Agents will come in from time to time, but it's not we don't operate that way. Maybe I should, but I don't. They don't have to come into the office.
So you're finding that
when I first started a team. Let me rephrase it. When I first started a team, I did require that, and I had a hard time recruiting. Because I couldn't get agents to drive a half an hour, 40 minutes to the office.
But you find that having it as an option has been a big strong point for you.
Sure, it is.
Hey, I do have it. If you want to use it, it's here.
Yeah, they all have keys to the office. I have a conference room. It is a very nice office. So, we have a printer that nobody uses that might not even be working right now, to be honest with you. Nobody even notices. But it's nice to have. If anybody's on my side of town, they're welcome to stop in any day. It's a great place for recruiting. I usually do our recruiting meetings in my office. So it's important for me to have. It was important.
Okay. All right. And you're finding that your agents, some of them do use it here and there.
Some of them do. Some of them pop in. There's the newbie agents usually in the beginning while we're training. A lot of them will be in the office, but it's not a required.
Okay. All right. Awesome. That makes a lot of sense.
I got agents I could go probably, again, I hope my coaches aren't watching this, but I got agents I go months without seeing. We talk every day, but we don't see each other. But again, we cover such a large area, it's not practical.
It's a lot. 150 miles is a lot.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
So
that's big. So Jason, what's your, I know we had kind of a disruption in 2020. But what's your goal for 2021? What are you looking to do with the team?
That's I'm supposed to be doing my business plan right now. You're supposed to do it 3 to 4 months in advance. So I haven't written it and done it. It is something in progress off the top of my head. I really want to be around 250 transactions next year. I really, really want to be around 30 agents or plus. I'd like to be at 30 before the year's up. We get into our recruiting season right now. So I really, really like to be around 30 agents. And I want my systems a little bit better, always making the knife a little more sharper in general. But 250 transactions sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you think at that point you're going to have to, hire another transaction coordinator, or do you think right now? Do you have
I've given her carte blanche that when she feels she's too busy, that we can do it. So she's now in charge of that area.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm going to leave it up to her. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I did bring in a virtual assistant. I've started to dabble in the VA stuff here the last couple of weeks. So there was some light Excel work, building Excel spreadsheets and stuff. So I have started using somebody out of the Philippines for that, and cold calling, some local calling too from the Philippines.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's really good. So what do you see your 5-year goal looking like?
5-year goal. So I'm 44. At 50. I would like to have the option to get out.
Okay.
And I don't know what that means. That's a conversation you should probably have with my wife.
Yep.
Did I just say that on a recorded call? Nobody share that with her.
That's great. That's great.
So that's honestly I just personally, you see these people, they retire at 70 and then get sick and get cancer 6 months later. And I said, I see a lot of that in today's world. It's like, I don't want to be that person that, I want to enjoy the second half of my life. Not that I'm not enjoying this, but I want to throw my feet up and sell real estate if I want to.
Relax
and
a
run the
little
business
bit.
if I want to. Yep.
Experience life. That makes a ton of sense.
With the stock, I have over 6 figures in stock already in EXP. So in 6 years, you said 5 years, 6 years, I should easily be, low 7 figures in that stock alone. So plus with the revenue share and maybe having a business that is sellable or not sellable. I mean, there's if I do it right, it should happen.
That's huge. Mm-hmm. That is huge. So essentially, how do you structure your day to be productive? What tips do you have in that area?
So I'm big into time blocking. I do like the time block, and I will set up ahead of time my stuff is red and money making things is green, recruiting's purple, and I will actually block out my calendar for the week, and then we try to fill in the blanks. Okay. So, but I'm big into time blocking with that right now, with having my son in football, my daughter in volleyball, trying to homeschool 2 days a week. We have kind of a crazy life, but I'm done working at the office by 3:45, 3:30 every single day because somebody needs to go to a sporting event. And I have 2 kids and there's 2 of us, and that's our life right now. So I'm very, very dialed in and making sure every minute is time blocked. So,
that's huge.
And just to maximize my activity during it. You won't see me logging into Facebook and fighting about COVID or political stuff. I don't have time for that. So.
Yep. Okay. That's good. All right. Yeah. And so do you have any tips for like new team leaders that just are starting their team that might have 0 agents or 1 agent? What would you say for them?
You got to figure out your end game. Figure out why you're doing what you're doing. And you got to be able to let go. You got to have reserves. I've said it like 17 times. You got to have reserves because there's going to be a lot of ups and downs and very bumpy. And you got to be willing to listen to your agents and be there for them and create a good culture too. So it's a different skill set than going out getting listings. So, and you got to decide what you want in your team. Do you want just a team of 2 or 3 agents, which means you're probably going to still be working on your own, still be doing your own business, or do you want to build a massive team where you're working on the team and let the team work on the business? Both are a ton of work, and neither one's right or neither one's wrong. So you just have to decide what you want. So I work just as much now as I did when I was a solo agent. Which I probably need to fix, but I am working still almost as many hours now as I was a solo agent.
And you're just doing different things.
Just different things. Yeah. Yep. Just a little different, but I'm in the office every day, somewhere between 7:30 and 8:15 every day. It's not like I get to sleep in. If I'm going to launch a new, redid my pixels this weekend when Facebook got turned back on, that was all Saturday. So my whole Saturday was, it's 4 hours on Saturday redoing all my pixels. I think I got 7 or 8 pixel campaigns going. So launch a new Google pay-per-click campaign. For me to launch a new campaign, it'll take me half an hour, 45 minutes to do that. So I'm working. It is work. It is work.
That's huge. Okay.
Yeah. From the outside, if you're thinking about starting a team because you see these team leads just cashing checks, you're seeing this much of it, maybe. There's a lot more to it, a lot more layers.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. And then last question I have for you is what, big unexpected challenge did you face when you started your team that you just didn't see coming?
Turnover. Having agents leave me and not being prepared for that because I wasn't big enough. That's another thing. If you're a small team, if you have a team of 3 agents and 1 or 2 leave, you just lost 30 to 60% of your team. Yes. So as opposed now, not that it wouldn't hurt if I lost 2 agents, it would be bad. I wouldn't be happy about it. Yeah. But the anxiety that happens when you lose 2 agents on a team of 3 or 4 is a lot different than if I lost 2 agents today. So, I don't remember. What would you ask me, Chris?
So your biggest unexpected challenge.
So that was unexpected there, and especially when some of these agents were, and this happened a couple times, and some of these agents were making money. So I was never prepared for that turnover. So that's a big one. And as I grew, I wasn't expecting the challenges I had with my admin, and that helped there. Having a coach makes a big difference with a lot of this stuff too.
Okay, so you have found coaching valuable.
I would, if you're going to start a team, I would recommend looking into coaching.
Okay, that's huge. That's huge. That's actually a big thing that not a lot of people do. Well, a lot of people do it, but then a lot of people don't do it. So it's a mix.
You got to be coachable, and you got to be the one. You got to be very intentional with coaching. You got to be the one coming to your coach with questions, just starting my call saying, "Okay, coach me. Nothing's wrong. Go coach me." The coach is going to say, "Well, what do you want? We're not going to go anywhere." Yeah. So but you come to your coach with problems, and if you don't have problems, event problems, be the one initiating the conversation, and that's helped me through a lot of those hurdles I've had in my career.
Okay, that's huge. That's huge. That's good information. So, Jason, do you have any last words of inspiration or advice you want to throw out there to agents out there, and any knowledge, anything else you want to drop?
Yeah. Old school works. Never stop picking up the phone. If we're ever hurting, pick up the phone. There's a coach. His name is Walter Sanford. I think he's still around. I remember I saw him speak years ago. He said something that I still remember. He says, "There's not a problem in your life that 5 new listings can't fix. If your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend isn't happy with you, go get 5 new listings. You're sick, go get 5 new listings. You're down because of COVID and that's hurting your business, go get 5 new listings." So that's in my head, and we can all do it by picking up the phone. So don't be afraid we can work ourselves out of any problem when it comes to real estate.
I love it. That's awesome. That is really good. Yep. That is really, really good. I'm going to use that tomorrow in my sales meeting.
Yep.
I love it.
There's not a problem in their life that 5 new fixings, other than maybe a serious illness, 5 new listings will fix almost any other problem in their life.
I love it.
Think about that. You can think about that.
It is. It's true. It makes a lot of sense. It really does. I like it.
I'm going to credit Walter Sanford. I think he's still around. He's a coach that said that. That was probably about 2005 when I heard that, and it's been stuck in my head. So
that is awesome. I haven't heard that one, so that's totally new. I like that. That is really good.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
your car's broken down. What are you going to do? You're going to get 5 new listings. And that's not a problem.
That's it. I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
hey, Jason, thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having it, Chris. I appreciate it. This is fun.
Of course. And if you guys have any questions, definitely drop a comment. Jason will, see if you can get on an answer. I'm going to link his social media up. So definitely reach out. Great resource here. And,
thank you.
Feel free to reach out to him.
I appreciate it, Chris. All right. You keep killing it out there. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too.